So we're going to go through the answers and some explanations to do with the Zoom reading text that we did a few days ago. So I'm going to tell you what the answers are, but explain how we get them, and also what sort of answers Cambridge would like you to give. What type do you think this is? You had three choices: chronological report, non-chronological, and an instruction text. First, let's think, what do these texts contain? Let's start off with a chronological report. One of these, it explains how something happens or happened, and it does that in sequence. To do that, it's going to contain a lot of time connectives, words like first, after that, and finally. Now, there were some of those in the Zoom text that we read, but not so many. Secondly, non-chronological report. One of these, it's laid out so that it has one main topic, and then each section is a subtopic of that main topic. I suppose our text was kind of laid out like that. But non-chronological reports are also usually written in the third person and are impersonal, unless they are written in a very informal style, maybe for children. This Zoom text was quite, semi-formal, and it also contains the word you quite a lot. There's quite a lot of that in there. So let's look at the third type, an instruction text. One of these explains to the reader how to do something. Now, that's definitely what the Zoom text seems to be doing. It is telling us how to download it, how to install it, how to open an account. And instruction texts speak directly to the reader, and they have sequences, first, then, next, after that. And they are telling the reader what to do, often with imperative sentences. And if you can remember, an imperative sentence is one of those bossy sentences that begins with a verb to tell you to do something. An example would be, open your books to page 10. The first word, open, is a verb, so this is an imperative sentence. So, of course, this type of text is really an instruction text, even though it's kind of a little bit conversational, and it is well organized, but mostly it is an instruction text. Question 2. Apart from video chatting, what else can participants do in Zoom? Here's the extract, and we can see that the video chatting is mentioned here. They can see and hear each other. But what else can they do? Some people only said they can share whiteboards, but that's not enough for Cambridge, is it? Because it mentions they can share whiteboards, and they can have text chats, and watch videos together or share videos, and more. So your answer should contain all of this. Question 3. What is the purpose of subheadings in this text? Notice it says this text. It doesn't say what is the purpose of subheadings, meaning all subheadings. It is asking about this text. So be aware of that. Sometimes Cambridge want to know generally what they're for in any text, and sometimes they mention this text. So, I'm sure you will remember they are to tell the reader what the section is going to be about. Notice it's the section, not the paragraph, because some of these subheadings are for a section, and the section might contain 2 paragraphs or more. Also, they help the reader to quickly and easily find information. And if we want to really focus on this text, then this text, the Zoom text, all the subheadings, they were written as questions. So these subheadings can also engage the reader in the same way that a rhetorical question would do so. Can you use Zoom on a computer, a mobile phone, or both? Well, here's the text extract, and clearly it tells us that you can download it on your computer or your mobile device. So the answer, of course, is both. Quite easy. 5. To download Zoom on a PC computer, what steps must you take? Notice it says, what steps must you take? Not just what happens, okay? That's quite important. The first one, A, has been done for us. It says click the link. The second one, the answer is going to begin with the word click. C is blank, the third step. And D begins with enter something or something. So let's take a look. Here were the instructions. And we can see that the first one that was done for us, here it is, you must go to this link. So you would click this link. Now, is this the second step? Well, no, because it said what steps must you take? And this is telling you that the system will do something. The system will automatically detect something. You don't do that. Also, the second step begins with the word click. So it's probably this one, then click the download installer. That'll be your second answer. Now, then we're looking for the third one, which was blank. Now, some of you might have put this in, follow any instructions it gives you. But if we look closely, there's a semicolon by here. So, follow any instructions it gives you is still part of this second step. It's part of the same sentence. So it's not going to be that one. It's probably going to be this one. It's got a sequencing word, next, and then this will be your answer. Open an account. And finally, the last answer began with enter something or something. And here's the answer. Enter an email address or log in via Google. So your answer should look something like that. According to the text, which is better, a PC computer or a mobile device? And why? This is our extract from the Zoom text. First part we have to answer is which one is better? And we can see here it says it is recommended that you use Zoom on a PC. So we would begin our answer like this. Using Zoom on a PC is best. Now we must answer why. Well, it is saying if your Wi-Fi is not very strong. Okay, here's the beginning of our reason. And the second part of it is it just says it's easier to use on a PC. So our final answer should look something like this. Using Zoom on a PC is best because a phone's Wi-Fi is sometimes weak, and it is easier to use Zoom on a PC. Question 7. What are the two main ways to use Zoom? Here's our extract. It tells us there are basically two ways to use Zoom. Here's our colon to tell us we're beginning the list, and the first way is as a host. And so where's the second one? The second one will be after the semicolon. Here. The other way is when you are invited to join. So the two main ways to use Zoom is as a host, or you could write or when someone invites you to join, or you could write something like this, or as a participant, by being invited, or as an attendee. Any of those similar answers would be fine. Question 8. In your own words, why is being a host of a meeting more difficult than being invited to join? Here's our extract. Now, if you're the host, you will have to start a meeting and invite all the participants. There are many different and confusing settings that you should choose to use before starting a meeting. Too many to talk about here, but you can learn about these on Zoom, on the Zoom website or on YouTube. So, these are the main reasons why. Now, could we write this as an answer? Being a host is more difficult because you will have to start a meeting, invite all the participants, and there are many different and confusing settings? Well, no. That answer will be wrong because we must remember it has told us to write this in your own words. And this answer at the bottom is just copying all the sentences from the text. So we need to paraphrase it into our own words, something like this. Being a host is more difficult because you must organize everything first. And the settings can be difficult to use. Any answer that has these two meanings, but are in your own words. Question 9. What is the second piece of advice in the section, can you give me any advice on participating? Here's the text. So, it introduces that they're going to talk about etiquette, and there's a colon telling us they are beginning a list. So, the first piece of advice is here, to be on time. Now, we need to find what is the second piece of advice. Now, don't just look at the next sentence, because this sentence is still talking about being on time. We need to find the semicolon, which is at the end of the third sentence, and then our second piece of advice begins here. Always learn the basics before using Zoom. That's the answer there. Question 10. In that same section, what is the main advice that participants should learn to do? Now, there's a lot of advice that it gives us here. Let's just recap. We've got our colon that is going to begin our list. The first one we know is be on time. The second one we know is always learn the basics. Now we look for the next semicolon here, always use a headset. Then we look for the next semicolon and make sure you know how to switch on your microphone. The next semicolon is there, and this is the the advice. Learn and remember to always switch off your microphone. The next semicolon, learn how to use the raise your hand icon. Here's a semicolon. Remember to listen, and finally, be patient. But we need to find the main advice. How do we know which one of these is the main advice? Well, we look for clues in the text. Look at this phrase here. Perhaps most importantly is learning and remembering to always switch off your microphone. So we can ignore the other ones because this phrase is telling us that this is the main advice, the most important one. Question 11. According to the text, name 2 different things you can do to improve your experience when using Zoom. This is the text extract. Now, we need to find 2 things. If we go through this, it's quite easy to find this because it's using the same words as the question. Experience, how can you improve your experience? Here's the colon. First reason, close all other programs. And here's the semicolon. Tells us to get a cable and connect your computer directly into your modem. This must be why a PC is better than any mobile gadget, I suppose. Okay, so how did you do? Did you get them all correct? Did you get them mostly correct? Did you miss things out or make any small mistakes? Well, if you did, don't worry. Learn from your mistakes and try to improve next time. there's the answers. If you have any questions, you can contact me through Google Classroom, and I'll try and answer them for you. Okay, bye for now.